So Matt's showing him that the jumping is unacceptable, and all he does, he'll ignore him, he'll turn his back to him, turn his back to him again, and then he's going to wait for Brooklyn to offer up a good behavior, then give him a treat very quickly. So Brooklyn knows all four paws are on the ground, and I'm going to get attention and a treat or a toy. So this is just part of Brooklyn being a puppy and being hyper. So this is just his first session. So we're incorporating play. We're going to play with him because you can't do a full training session without the dog being exercised first. It's important that they use up some energy and exercise, then you start training. But you can incorporate training during play, which is great. So we do like a play and train session to get him moving and stuff like that. You can't just expect a dog to train for 20 minutes straight without any type of interactive activity. It's just not fair. So puppies do much better when you incorporate play and outdoor play, if possible, into training. So they'll do a couple of short training sessions, see, like a few seconds, and then Matt will go back to playing with him. I don't want to get too close because then I'll become a distraction for Brooklyn. And he's getting him to stay in a sit-stay position. So he's seeing how long he can stay in a sit position for. And it's important, you'll see that when Matt goes to give Brooklyn his reward, his food reward for sitting and staying, if Brooklyn pops up even a little bit from that sit, he's not going to give him the treat. You want to make sure that the command you're asking for is the command they're performing. So he's expecting him to sit and stay. And if Brooklyn pops up and he gives a treat for him popping up, Brooklyn will associate that with, well, when I pop up, I get a treat. Where we want him to associate, if I sit and stay in one position, I'll get a treat. And then he just released him from training, and now they're going to play a little bit. Hello, puppy. Hello. Hello. You know, a training session should be like 3 to 5 minute intervals. You actually work up to that 5 minutes. And you have to incorporate play with these young, especially with these young puppies, if you want them to have any type of duration with training. Everything that we do, even with our own dogs, because we're trainers, is incorporated into training and playing. You know, the idea is, you know, dogs like Brooklyn, you know, a Rottweiler, they're working breeds. They want to work. They actually like it better when there's a job to do, when they have to focus on something. And so what we call it is like a paying program. So every time he performs a behavior that we want, we're going to pay him for that. Whether it's with a treat or with a toy reward, but we're going to pay him with some type of positive reinforcement reward. And everything we do with him is going to be training. And dogs like that. They want to work, they want to have a job to do. So an owner can incorporate training while they're sitting at home, you know. If the dog is sitting and laying down on its dog bed, you can toss a treat to it so that it starts to realize, oh, I'm getting a treat because I'm just hanging out here, I'm just laying down. Or as you're getting ready to walk the dog, you start training them to sit as they put on the leash, sit before you go out the door. Little things like this. It's fun for them. It gets their mind working, and I think that's what we forget. You know, we don't we don't have these dogs use their mind as much as they should, and especially these purebred dogs who were bred to work. Um, you know, a couple of walks a day is just not enough. Training is so important, and it can go. It can be every day. It doesn't have to be for long periods, but it can be several short sessions a day, and it's a very bonding experience for the dog and the owner. So we're just trying to break the jumping habit. Brooklyn is also a little sensitive, or he appears to be a little sensitive um, when you touch him around his hind area, even if it's lightly petting, light petting. So Matt's, if you notice, is doing a lot of petting with him in between training and play, and sort of desensitizing him to that. Letting him know that it's okay. We can pet you here. We can touch you, and it's absolutely okay and gentle.
It's polite leash walking without the leash.
And some okay.
Let's go. Come on.
So Brooklyn is distracted by the landscaper. And that's actually a good thing. So you see, he was easily distracted, but that's okay. So it's just his first session.
Oh, you like that toy better? Drop it. Ooh. What happened? Where's your toy? Got no toy. Ready? Down. Up.
And that's how you teach it down. You use treats. At the beginning, whenever you're teaching something new, you want to have high value treat rewards. And you want to use them at like a jackpot rate. What that means is you want to really offer up a lot of treats when they perform a new behavior for the first time. And eventually the treats you'll start to use them less and less, and you'll introduce a verbal cue. But whenever you introduce a new cue, like sit, down, stay, you want to use a lot of high value treats. So they're like, oh my God, I'm doing this and I'm getting, these great things, and they will associate the treats with the behavior, and they will be more apt to perform the behavior quicker the next time.
No.
So it's using positive reinforcement, and it works. It works. It's the best form of training.
No, I won't.
It's the most effective form of training, effective and efficient form of training, using positive reinforcement. You never have to yell. You never have to put your hands on a dog to ask for a behavior. You never have to train using anything negative. As you can see, they will work. They're all positive. You know, and as a trainer or an owner, you want all good things to come from you. And you see that Brooklyn doesn't want to be far from that ever. They're forming a bond. They're training in play.
Where's the ball? Where's the ball?
And he's such a good boy. He just needs a little training.